no news anymore that new immigrants are having a hard time finding accommodation here in Canada. They move from their home countries, leaving their plush, their plum, and their juicy jobs, hoping that Canada will give them a smooth transition, but that's not the case. They come starting with a very, very sad experience of not even finding the first thing that they need as an immigrant: accommodation. From their short stay at the Airbnb, they find it difficult to find a rentable apartment. Homeowners are not renting to new immigrants. They ask that they need them to have a credit history. They ask that they need them to have an employment letter in Canada or a job history in Canada. And yet they are new immigrants. Because they have no credit history, they've not built one because they are new, and they don't have a job. This question keeps coming back to me. As new immigrants, how do you expect them to have all that you're asking for them to be able to rent an apartment? So because they can't provide this and many more that they ask, they get denied of renting an accommodation. And the government of Canada needs to step into this situation. I hear that there are shelters being built as well in other provinces to house people that can't find homes, because there are no commensurate accommodation for immigrants to find a place to lay their head. The government of Canada has a lot to do when it comes to settling new immigrants, because you asked immigrants to come and build or help build the economy of Canada. They are all trained professionals from their various countries, because even right from filling those applications, it shows that Canada is looking for skilled workers, and skilled workers have applied. Hopefully that they will be able to get a good transition, something commensurate to what they do. It's just a very minute percentage of immigrants that land in Canada that find jobs before they land. So when they come to Canada, they need to settle, find accommodation, and begin to look for a job. So how then do you expect them to have a credit history? How then do you expect them to have a job, or to be able to give you a 3 or a 6 months or even a 1 year history or employment from Canada, and they are new immigrants? The government of Canada needs to build homes that would accommodate new immigrants as they land. It is not funny anymore. People are getting stranded. They come into Canada and there's not even the first thing that they need, which is accommodation. They probably move to an Airbnb for a short stay and then start hunting for an accommodation that is not even there. Some find it so difficult because landlords are not willing to let homes to immigrants, with the fear that they might not be able to pay subsequent rents or so, despite showing their bank account, despite showing their proof of funds, despite showing that they are new immigrants into Canada. There needs to be a transition into settling for new immigrants, because you asked immigrants to come and they are here, and then there is nothing for them to be able to do. The government of Canada needs to step in and be able to help the cause of new immigrants, because they are here to further build the economy here. But while they are here, their first experiences are obviously not pleasant experiences. There should be homes, I would suggest, that are available for new immigrants, even if it's a 6 months accommodation that helps them transit and settle down while they start building credit history or even find a job, and then be able to move into another home, having those requirements that homeowners will actually require from them. Construction needs to double up as well. Immigrants shouldn't be suffering. We can't leave our plush and plum and very juicy jobs and come here and then begin to sleep in shelters because there's no accommodation to house us. Immigrants also expect the best from Canada. We need accommodation, we need jobs. So make it available to immigrants. Don't let immigrants come and begin to regret leaving their home country, leaving all that they have, and yet come into Canada and still have no good experience from their get-go. The winter is drawing near. Would they still live in those shelters? You've asked immigrants to come. They have come here, and yet they are getting stranded. The government of Canada needs to make available homes for immigrants seamlessly when they come here, based on that status as a new immigrant. without a credit history and without a job. Yet having their proof of funds showing that they have capacity to pay. They need to be able to find a place to lay their heads from the first day that they land here in Canada. Because as they begin to pay for Airbnb, it eats down into all the money that they have brought in from their country. And don't forget that there are some countries that their currencies have depreciated badly. And they've spent so much to be able to get that equivalent for their family size. So why make them spend more by renting Airbnb and then spending all the money there without getting an accommodation? The government of Canada needs to find a means to be able to make this work for new immigrants. It's enough. Immigrants are being put in shelters in some provinces, and the winter is just around the corner. They're still going to be staying in those shelters. The government needs to take a drastic step to make accommodation commensurate to the number of immigrants that are moving in, so that we are all safe. This has to get to the government though, because if it's not you, it is your cousin, it is your sister, it is your uncle, it is your daughter that is stranded here. And we all need the best, because we are living the best to come to Canada as well. We deserve better.